He's the one and only Super Sodiq Yusuff, kind enough to join us. There he is. What's happening, my man? We made it.
I finally made it on Ariel, man. It's like a full circle moment here. It took 4 years of fighting, but okay, the YouTube content got me on here.
It got you on. Listen, I wrote to you. I'm late. It's my bad. But the YouTube content, you gave me something to chew on here, and you're doing a great job. By the way, I will be honest with you. GC in the back said to call you a self-proclaimed Riz God. I have no idea what a Riz God is. What is a Riz God?
So a Riz God, I don't know if I could go fully into it. It's just when I smile at you, how do you feel, Ariel?
You have a beautiful smile. It feels warm. It feels cuddly. Is that what it is?
That's all I gotta say, Ariel.
Is that
the new kids on TikTok just taught me that I go live on TikTok a lot. So like they just write that as jokes, and I had to get them to explain it to me. Apparently, it's just being attractive by not doing anything.
Man,
so
look at you.
I gave up fighting, and now I'm just risen.
Wow, I like. So are you like? Dare I ask? Are you a ladies' man? I mean, what does that mean?
No, I'm taking Ariel, but okay. The Riz can't be it can't be stopped. It can't be contained.
Respect. Well, clearly, because you are taken. And by the way, I can't delay on this. You were on a program called On the Line Sports, and you sort of called me out. I mean, there was a bit of shade there. And I saw this clip. I put it in my back pocket. I was waiting for the right time. For those that may have missed it, this is Super Sodiq on the On the Line Sports podcast talking about me and this program. Take a look at this.
Try to do is like when I have guys I think are pretty big, like I'm like, and I see they've never been on Hawani because when I listen to every interview. I listened to the Sway interview. I saw the Sway interview. I'm like, there's no way there's not a Hawani clip.
Yeah. I made it on Sway before I made it on Ariel Hawani. That's insane.
Like what?
That's insane. Well, one day I'll be calling up to make it on Ariel's show.
Maybe one day we can get you. One day, I don't know who you have to fight.
You guys might be the one to get me on there. Yeah, put this clip up. Maybe he'll be like, "Oh man, I remember that guy."
It helped, but I wasn't sure about the line. I made it on Sway before Ariel. I wasn't sure if that was a shot at me saying that Sway's bigger than me and that you leapfrogged me to get to Sway. Is that what you meant?
It's not a shot at you. Trust me. In our community, Sway and Ariel are, with all respect to you, Ariel.
Okay.
Sway's a legend.
He is a legend. And so I just didn't know if Sway was the big, like that's making it to the Tonight Show. And I'm just a little cognitive.
No. Sway's outside of MMA.
Okay.
Sway, like the people that don't watch MMA watch Sway, but I've been watching you since I was a kid. This is like a full circle moment.
All right.
So I was like, man, as soon as I got to the UFC, I was like, man, one day I'm gonna be on Ariel, and then just never happened.
Well, you know who we could blame for this?
Who's that?
Brian Butler. I mean, he never told me that you wanted to be on the show. I mean, where's he at? He's gonna text me in 0.5 seconds. I'll be like, "Why are you hating? Why are you hating on me, bro?"
When I was a kid, Dick was on here, and I was calling his phone, and he was talking about me. He was like, "Man, tell him to stop calling you," because he kept interrupting with the Skype call.
Wait, who was that? Who was that?
James Vick.
He was. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So I think I was probably maybe 19 or something like that, and that like Vic was on here, and he was like, "Yeah, my boy said he's gonna be in the UFC one day, blah blah." And I was like texting him, and you could hear him like vibrating through the phone.
That is awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and I'm sorry for being late. By the way, are you sitting in front of a green screen right now?
Yeah, man. This is what I've been doing for the past. Well, let me break it down.
Please.
I've been hurt. I've been sidelined. So I have a really bad back injury. The UFC just paid for some injections in my back. So I'm finally at the point where I can stand and sit without pain. But in the meantime, while I was off, my coach told me, man, I got to start picking up new things, like start learning some stuff, start taking the content stuff seriously, which is why I'm on here,
Yes.
It's like, man, take this time, start putting the content stuff out. Butler talked to me too. He was like, man, you have fans that just know you from fighting, but people don't know you're funny. People don't know how you really are outside of the cage. So this is what I do now. I just sit here. I take classes for the past month now. I was on here working on my mom's website. So,
no way. Wait, what are the classes that you're taking?
A bunch of different things. I took in acting stuff, stuff designing Shopify stuff, just all the things that I've always stayed away from because I was always at practice. Now that I can't train, I've been going to the gym and just watching. So my coach is like, hey, man, just go learn some new skills. You know, like I'm always there. It's like I'm like, what's it called? You've been in jail so long, you're like used to it.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is with me in training. So I just go there and sit around at the gym.
I love it. And you're really making an impact and getting a lot of love. I have to say, a little bit disappointed that we're not getting the gym background that I usually see in the breakdown videos. I thought you were going to, I wanted to mark out for that. Why couldn't you have put, I guess it's because it's a green screen, right? You can't.
Yeah, I think there's probably a way I could do that. See, now I got to learn how to do that kind of stuff on Zoom. Next time
background.
you have, see, now you have a reason to bring it back on here next time.
And so how bad is the back injury?
It's pretty bad, man. It's so it was something that I was dealing with before, but then it got crazy. My coach actually freaking it's like 2 slip discs, and they're pressing on some nerves, and it was getting to the point where it was hard to like stand or sit for too long, you know. So I was like spending most of my time either laying on a ball or something like that. But once I got the injections, I'm pretty okay now. Like I could stand for a pretty long time. So now it's just a point of doing rehab, and I've been doing that for about 2 weeks now. So once I feel confident again, I'll get back to practice. I was gonna actually go train with like some little kids this week until I moved around in the car a little bit funny, and I was like, all right, let's take our time, you know.
Are you worried that this might stunt your growth? Your
no, because worst case scenario, I'm pretty hard headed, Ariel. Okay. Worst case scenario, we're gonna make it work and deal with it when we're 40. But I think if I listen, I'll be all right. I just gotta have patience.
And so your last fight was October 1st. Was it bothering you then, or this only came about afterwards?
Not as bad as it is now. So it was something where I could, like I said, I could like grit through it. But then it got really, really bad like 2 months ago.
Okay. And so then you realize, all right, I'm going to be out. Your coach tells you got, when do you start, like these videos, we played it at the beginning of the show. We played a little clip from the 284 breakdown. It's just fair. I mean, it's just fun. It's unique. Your delivery is great. The way you're talking into the microphone is great. The video thing on the side, like the what you're showing on the side is great. It's just very good, and it's showing a different side of your personality. You know, UFC fighters, this is me sort of lamenting, they kind of make all of you look the same. You're all dressed the same. It's hard to break through. So now I feel like we have this different connection with you. How did you come up with this?
No, that's a fact. Like you were talking about Brian before. Brian actually came up to our gym like maybe like a couple months ago, and he was talking about my interaction with fans, you know, like the people around me know, like, this is what I do naturally, you know. I fight scary, but in real life, I'm just cracking jokes most of the time, you know. So the funny stuff comes to me naturally. And the thing with the breaking down cards, that's what I do with people I interact with, because I hate talking about like when people don't know you and you're a UFC fighter, all they want to do is talk about fighting.
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't want to talk about fighting with my friends. So whenever they start talking about fighting, it's literally me just trolling, because they don't know who the hell they don't know who the hell's fighting. Right. They'll pull out their phone, and I'm doing that in real life, like what I do on those videos, but it's like I'm doing it like in person. So like now when I have time to like actually sit down and actually make it up myself, it's gold, you know. So I like it, man. I think I'm gonna keep doing it for every single card until I gotta fight. Then I'm like,
you should keep doing it, man. It's only gonna get bigger. You know, it reminds me a little bit, and it's you know, it's funny because Brian represents him as well. It reminds me a little bit of Keith Lee. Now, obviously, Keith Lee is on a different level with what he's doing.
Keith is the man, yo. Keith is actually one of my motivations, because I saw I sent them a message. I mean, I sent my coach a message a long time ago when I saw him rising. I remember the first viral video he had with his girl at the time of him cooking, and I was like, man, I really like Keith, and me and him kind of have like the same kind of voice, like
yes,
voice.
Your delivery is the same.
Yeah. So I like Keith, man. Keith is the man.
Yeah, so that's why I would say keep doing it. And people are starting, like, are you starting to feel that you're getting noticed, love? That's got to feel good, right?
Because now it's starting to reach outside of like fight fans, you know, like people that don't watch fighting are starting to like spread it around. The funny thing is I did it for YouTube, you know, I'm trying to get my YouTube channel popping, but it never caught on YouTube. It didn't catch on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram and Facebook, but Twitter, it just went crazy. I guess it's more viral on Twitter. But if y'all watching this, man, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get my YouTube popping, man.
Okay.
But like I said, I'll take it. Because it's getting me the right kind of notoriety. The people in the backstage of the UFC is calling and talking about it. And I'm happy. When I first heard they were talking about it, I thought they were going to be upset, because the first one I did was the second one I did was a pretty bad card. Was a Derek Lewis card. Yes. I thought they were going to be angry at me. You know, I can't win until next week's card. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So the thing about that is, and by the way, the YouTube channel, I think you just type in like Super Sodiq Yusuff and it comes up, right? The YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'm dying for the Aaron Blanchfield, Tyler Santos card because I mean that I don't want to be a hater, but that might be the worst UFC card of all time, just in terms of name.
Yeah, it's the best UFC card ever.
Do you have? Can I? Would it be mean if I asked you right now, like if you could give me like two, like what just do you have to prepare this stuff or
no way, man. It's to be honest, it's not much preparation. That's why I make the joke. Is like I sit here and I look through the card. Then I just turn on the mic. But you can't get the secret sauce, man. You got to have a reason to tune in.
All right, fair enough. That is a perfect one for you. But you did do a 284 one, and what's great about it is there are a couple like the Parker Porter line killed me. It was just great because it's just so random, and there's a lot of the cards have gotten a little bit watered down over the years. The top is great, but a little so this is perfect because it's like I feel like you are all of us looking at these cards, even me who lives and breathes this stuff. Like I don't know, last week's card, the Derek Lewis one. I never heard of 95% of those people.
Exactly. So now you're forced to pick based off names. But like I said, this is what I do naturally when people come ask me for fight picks because I don't know these people, So now I'm just going based off names, going based off where they're from. But now that I can make it a little bit more funny, it's just completely off the wall.
I think it was Angela Hill. She was asking about your formula on how you pick what. So what is the formula?
Yeah.
How do you pick the winners?
So what she was asking was because she said Volkanovski has a lot of consonants in his last name. So there's one if you're getting a UFC fight or you're making your debut and they're putting it against like a Muslim guy and you see his last name has like 20 consonants, it's gonna be a rough day, So what she's trying to say is Volkanovski has a lot of consonants too, but it's offset because Islam got the beard with no mustache.
Yeah,
the beard with no mustache beats the consonants of the last name, because you could be a regular American guy and just have a weird last name. You're not an American with the beard with no mustache.
Yeah, when you said that about the beard, it's 100% true. Like you see the beard and no mustache, you're like, oh, this guy's a killer. He's winning.
Exactly.
He's probably like 15-1. He hasn't lost in 8 years or something like that.
Yeah, 15-1 as 300-0 as amateur. They don't write that part.
Yeah, it's amazing. By the way, I noticed on your social media you talk and you even mentioned this because I think were you in Nigeria recently back home?
Not recently. It's been a little while.
Okay, well, why do you always talk about your weight? I mean, I feel like you're the Riz God, but you're always talking about your fat face, this and that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a coincidence that, man, we're all fat, Ariel. When you guys after we fight and you guys see these glamorous pictures, those pictures are from like 5 weeks ago.
Right.
Right. The week after the fight and 2 weeks after the fight, we look how I looked in that trip when I was in Nigeria. I think I was like 194 in that picture. But and the other time was when Bryce Mitchell decided to take the fight with me after turning it down. And it was like, I'm afraid he's too fat right now. I'm not one of these guys who's going to lie, Ariel. If I always keep it real because I'm just myself, So I replied to him. I was like, yeah, you're 100% right, Bryce.
So that was it? It was really because you were out of shape?
No, not out of shape, but I wasn't making 145.
Right.
Because look, so right after the fight, I saw he lost an opponent. I was like, oh, nice. I'll take that fight. And then the UFC, they completely shut it down. It was like, oh, man, you're not doing that. So guess what I did, Ariel? Took my ass to go get some food. Nice. And then he came back like a week later saying I'll fight you. And I'm like, man, I'm not making 145 in 3 days, Bryce.
Yeah. Speaking of back home, you grew up in with 16 siblings?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of us, man. It was a whole football team out there, Ariel.
So it's a polygamous family?
Yeah, my dad had 4 wives.
Wow.
I was the second to the last. My brother is number 16.
And did you have at any point a relationship with did you know every single one of those?
Yeah. Even to this day, we left when I was pretty young, but even to this day, I still consider all of them. They're all my brothers and sisters. Technically, me and my younger brother are the only ones that are fully blood related, but everybody else is like half brothers, half sisters. Like those are all my family right there.
And you all live together, or is it different?
Back in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's one house.
Yeah. It was pretty nice house too, especially like, man. Trust me, when I was younger, man, it felt normal when you're growing up. What you know is what you know. So it felt completely normal.
Yeah.
And you'll have a whole entourage with you. You're never afraid to go outside, no matter what happens in the neighborhood. You got 16 backups.
Yes.
I mean, you got 15 backups. We used to play like sports where our whole family will make up one team. So and my older brothers was always there to protect me. And to be honest, they were there to discipline me. So I never really got disciplined by my parents because there's a big chain of events to go on before I ever reached mom and dad, So it was cool. It wasn't until I got to like the US, I started getting older. I was like, man, yeah, that was kind of strange. But it's starting to pop off now. People are starting to do it a whole lot more now in America.
Really?
Yeah. That polygamous stuff is starting to pop, especially like in the Black community. Like people are starting to try out those kind of relationships.
Do you subscribe to that lifestyle now? Or?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I would ever do that, because I from growing up, no matter how good of a parent you are or how good of a father you are, it's impossible to connect with 16 kids.
Yeah.
Like my dad is great, but it's like with me, I kind of want that one-on-one relationship with my kids.
So you moved to America, I believe, with your mom and 2 siblings, right?
Yeah, no, it was me and my little brother.
So
my mom
both of you, right? Yep.
Yeah, my mom came here first. Dang, Ariel, thank you for making up for lost times. You see, now I gotta tell my full story.
Yeah, for real.
My 4 years in the UFC.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to get people to know more about you. That's all.
I appreciate it. My mom came here like 2 years before us. Like to me, when I was a kid, that felt like a lifetime. But she came here and she, under the table jobs, she's an immigrant. So she was braiding hair, saved up enough money to buy me and my brother the plane ticket. And we came here. I don't know how much I could say. I mean, I'm a citizen now,
Yeah.
We came here for a little vacation and we got lost, We came here for vacation and got lost in America.
Hey.
So, we had to do the immigration thing. That's why I mess with immigrants so heavy, Like I know the story. So it was always working multiple jobs. We had like one small apartments that we all shared. We was doing that all the way until I graduated high school. And at this point, we had to get our papers, we had to figure something out. And luckily, my mom fell in love,
I love it. And so I remember after your debut in Australia, coincidentally, in that clip of you about your brother who passed away and she didn't tell you. Yeah. Is that the brother that you moved to America with?
No. I came with my younger brother. So that's why I haven't been back to Nigeria in so long, I lost 2 brothers since I started fighting. And so like after I lost my first one, I still went back a little bit, but the second one that I lost is like, he's the one that always picked me up from the airport. He's like, when I talk about being like protected as a kid, it was always him, So I don't like talking about it so much because it makes me sad. And we're here to be happy.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I feel for you, man. Because I mean, I can't even imagine. I feel for your mother as well, for your father. I can't imagine what that is like.
It's one of those things where, to be honest, I probably need to take my ass to therapy, but I just be laughing it off because my mom. I always looked at it as it took a while for my mom to go back home again after that happened. And in my mind, I was always saying, I don't think my mom's ready to go back to Nigeria. That's why we never go. And then one day she just hit me up and she was like, hey, Sodiq, you want to go to Nigeria? And when she said it, I started stuttering and shit, man. I was like, and then it hit me like, shit, I'm not fucking ready to go, Okay. So she's been back a few times. I haven't been back to Nigeria in like 2 years, Okay. But it's one of those things I keep saying I'll go and then I keep putting it off. But it's a fight I'll face in the future, Ariel.
And one not so other pleasant thing that I want to ask you about, this battle with long COVID that you had after the Arnold Allen fight. So I mean, to all the people who say that COVID wasn't a real thing and all this shit, what did you go through?
Man, it's crazy, man. Because I don't get how people have that kind of opinion when you like me personally. I know a lot of people that's died from it,
Yeah.
So I understand if you're just like in a box and you don't have anybody to hit like really. But with me, mine was really, really bad. I'm happy that it was never to the point where it was life-threatening, but it was like it completely wrecked everything. After the Arnold fight, so I got the COVID right before Arnold, but I recovered. So I don't like saying that because I don't want to blame like that on my fight. It had nothing to do with the fight because I recovered from it. And then after the fight, maybe like a couple of weeks later, I started feeling strange, I started feeling strange. I kept on getting tired really, really fast. And with how the fight went, I kept thinking to myself, I was like, man, maybe I'm just feeling unmotivated because I just lost. Like maybe blah, blah. Like, I started questioning, guessing myself. So whenever that would happen, my answer would be to just go on a long run. So I would go on like these like 5-6 mile runs, not knowing that I was making myself worse and worse and worse. And like it just kept on happening more and more. I kept saying, okay, I'll go work it out, I'll go work it out, work it out. All the way to the point where I know I was no longer able to train. You know, like I'll get too tired at practice. I'll get tired in like the first round and I have to take a long break. Then it got to the point where I was getting tired in my regular life. Like where I'll be walking up the steps and get tired, or I'll be having a conversation with people, and all of a sudden it's time to go to bed. You know, like it's like literally like that. My energy would just drain completely. So if I'm not out of breath, I'm just running out of energy. Then I started getting body aches, and it took a long time. So luckily for me, the team's doctor was working with an Olympic track girl. And he said everything that I was saying was the same thing she was saying. I was just making myself work because I kept on working out.
Right.
So he was like, man, I think you're probably one of these long haul things. I didn't even know what the hell long haul COVID was.
Right.
So I got online, started looking it up. I joined like a bunch of long haul groups. And funny enough, I mean, not funny, but what's sad is there's some people in that group that still like having problems to this day, you know. But luckily for me, I was able to make it on the other end. You know, it just took a long time. It was one of those things where I literally had to stop doing everything. I had to like take time to just relax, and it just slowly went away. It was like it didn't happen all in one night. Of course, I would go to practice and still have problems every once in a while. But once I was able to get to like a 4 weeks practice, that's when I asked them to schedule the Alex Caceres fight. And since then, I haven't had a problem since.
Okay, so you don't feel anything?
No, man. Knock on wood. I've been good for like a whole year now.
You have outside of the videos, you have a lot of bangers on Twitter, a lot of great ones. I like the one in particular about the crypto guy. Do y'all still talk to the person who got you to lose all that money in crypto? Because I've had a few fighters come on this show and wax poetic about crypto. And I'm like, this stuff sounds crazy.
Yeah. Oh no, trust me. I was one of those guys too, but
oh really?
It wasn't my fault.
Come on, you were preaching about this?
Yeah, no, I was tricked like the rest of y'all. So when I find the guy that tricked me, then I'm gonna get my lick back. Then y'all can come attack me. Anybody that I trick can come back and attack me. But it's funny how this stuff works. And I keep bringing up Butler, but I gotta give him credit. I guess now that people see that I'm funny, they look back at all my old stuff and look at it in a comedic tone. So now they're like, oh, this guy's pretty fun. Like now I'm getting tagged in like old interviews and old videos. I'm like, man, what? Like, I guess because of the way I fight, people just thought I was an angry, mean guy. So I was just being mean when I was writing this stuff. But it's all tongue in cheek.
I love the. Were you an NFT guy too?
No, see,
okay.
by the time the NFC came around, I was already tricked by the crypto people, you know. So the NFC guys, I never got onto that one.
The NFT shit was the biggest bullshit of all time. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe people were paying $50,000 for a picture of a monkey eating a cupcake. Like, what is going on here? Were we that bored? What is happening?
If somebody's willing to buy it, man, somebody else is willing to sell it.
Man, I saw a picture of you from your freshman yearbook, I think it was. The hair was sick. Did you ever consider bringing it back? I liked it.
Maybe. I used to have twists all the way to my shoulder, and then I took it out for a long time, and just coincidentally when it was out was when picture day was coming up. So I took it, and I look like I identified as a guy instead of being a guy. Yeah,
we're showing the picture right now. It's a fantastic look. It is a fantastic look.
Yeah. I look like my pronouns was he and him.
Stop it with that. Stop it. We went. So my guy GC went into the archives as far as your Twitter is concerned. November 23rd, 2011. You tweeted, Ariel farted on Uvu. What the hell does that mean?
That's hilarious, yo.
What is that?
But Ariel, you're not the only Ariel.
Okay.
I hate to break it to you. There's females named Ariel, too. So that was a female friend I had named Ariel.
Okay. You weren't hating back then, too, because you were hating on that podcast a few months ago. I wasn't sure if it dates back 12 years.
Man, you got to be honest, man. I was like a huge fan. The only reason why I stopped listening was because after a point when I was in the UFC I felt like I was getting too much MMA content. I think I was like driving myself crazy. But when I'm telling you, I used to like listen to your show like every episode. You, Joe, Bisbin came back later, Chill Son, your best friend Brandon, you know? I used to your best friend Brandon Shaw.
I love that you called him Brandon. Was that on purpose? Did you do that on purpose?
Brandon. Sorry. Your best friend Brandon.
That is amazing.
But yeah, I used to listen to all you guys religiously. So trust me, Ariel, I'm a fan.
I appreciate that. Who wins in the interim featherweight title fight this weekend?
You didn't hear?
Well, I just for the people.
There's 3 guys named Josh fighting.
Yeah.
The last Josh is gonna win.
Okay. Emmett.
To be honest, I'm not sure, but I would pick Emmett. If I had to bet it, I'll pick Emmett. You'll be surprised, man. Some guy walked up to the gym with my last picks and parlayed everybody that I picked.
No.
I'm like, yo. If you want to throw your money in the trash, go ahead and pick. Go with my picks. But I really do think Emmett will win that one.
Did he win?
Of course not.
It would be funny actually if you kept a tally on the picks.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm undefeated. That's what I say on Twitter. I say I haven't gotten a single one wrong. You should say that. By the way, congratulations! I saw Fight Pass. They ranked you like they're doing the top 30 ever Fight Pass guys. And I think you're like 24 or something. I don't know if that's like another backhanded compliment. I should be higher, man. Yeah. I feel like I should be higher. I always say Fight Pass, the Contender. The Contender, I was like, man, me and Mike Davis fight on Contender is still the best fight they've ever had, you know? I was like, man, why don't y'all spotlight that a lot more? But yeah, number 24 is crazy.
Should be higher. I think should be higher. I mean, 24 in the Fight Pass rankings. I mean, who's like, come on. Are there 23 better guys than you? Come on.
That's wild. You know, maybe they're gonna have all legends on there. You know, they might bring like Anderson Silva fighting in some crazy Fight Pass.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So what do you think this year? You think you fight again?
Yeah, for sure. When this first happened, I thought I was gonna be sitting out like a month. You know, so I kept on asking the doctor, and every time I'll ask, he'll give one of those looks like this guy doesn't know how bad this is. You know?
Oh man.
So it got to the point where now I'm actually starting to become more okay with it. You know, it's like I have a new life now. My days, I'm always messing up around the house. I don't know when to take the trash out, when to put it on the curb, because my days is always scheduled around practice. You know, it's like oh, today's sparring day. Today's the day we put the trash on the curb. You know, so I'm just trying to figure out what to do with myself. And hey, the content then is helping a little bit. I keep doing my rehab. Hopefully, man. I don't want to give a date because I don't want the UFC to hit me up again. They hit me up to fight Giga. I had to turn it down, but
did that hurt your heart?
I'm myself. You know what hurt my heart was him freaking tweeting me. I was like, yo, come on, dude.
What do you say? What do you say?
Sodiq, the UFC offered you to fight me twice, and I just want to know if you're taking it or turning it down so I can stop training. I was like, at this point, I think you already knew I said no,
right? And
so now it turns into like you're trying to play with the fans thing, you know, trying to like create a rhetoric. But it's one of those rhetorics that's kind of whack because I showed up to the last fight, you know,
right.
And then instead I have to have a damn 3-round war with Don Shainis. So it's one of those things where I don't get it.
He knew that you were out and he was just trying to hate a little bit, it seems.
Yeah, maybe it was Ali.
Listen, I'm happy you said it because I've heard Giga's a nice guy, but he talks shit about me and I was like, there's no way this is actually Giga talking shit right now.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Ali. It might have been but me and Ali are actually pretty cool.
You guys are cool? You train together?
No, but every time I've ever met Ali, he's always been present. Is there conflict there, Ariel? You and Ali?
No, I'm good, man. I just gave him props like 5 minutes ago on the show. I just gave him props.
Yeah, every time I've ever met him, it's always been positive, man. And to be honest, all his fighters always say positive things about him. So as far as I know, he's a good guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been great. Super Sodiq. By the way, why do they call you Super?
It's from most people think it's for Superman, but it's like I'm a big anime nerd, so it's about Super Saiyan.
Oh.
Yeah, Super Saiyan Sodiq, you know.
Is that from Dragon Ball Z?
SSY. Yeah, from Dragon Ball Z. SSY stands for Super Saiyan.
I totally guessed that. As far as anime, I know Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, and I just guessed.
You're too cool for anime, Ariel?
Not that I'm too cool.
That's wild, man. You're a WWE guy.
Yeah, that's right. What do you have to say about that?
What the hell?
You don't like WWE?
When I was a kid, once I found anime.
By the way, the animation is so crap. It's like.
Yo, what the hell?
You like anime?
Unless if you're watching something from 1990s, the animation from anime is like leading all of animation.
You're kidding. If I watch like Disney or whatever the other one is that they have on Pixar, that's 1,000 times better than what I see on TV anime.
All right, watch Demon Slayer or something like that. That'll show you some
Demon Slayer
animation. Yeah, the best fighters are all anime guys, man.
That's true.
Look at Izzy.
I'll give you that.
Roxanne Modafferi, the OG anime girl. You know, like shout out to all the OG anime viewers. When I fought Alex Caceres, I was like, God, now I gotta pretend like this dude isn't cool. You know,
yeah.
I got act like he's not the man. You know, like all the anime dudes are vicious, man. Shout out to anime.
Where do I see that show?
Demon Slayer. I think it's on. I don't know where that. You can just look it up. You find Demon Slayer.
You sound like a big fan. You don't even know where I can watch.
Yeah, but Ariel, that's because I grew up poor, Ariel. You know where I got all my content from. Hey, Ariel, I watched every single UFC pay-per-view as a kid. Ask me if I bought one. I bought them all. Dana. Dana, I bought them all.
Oh my God, you're crazy, man. I didn't even know Last Stylebender. I thought that was a cool nickname. I had no idea that it was a playoff of Airbender or anything like that.
Yeah, see, look at that. You're a casual, Ariel. That's not even
For
anime.
real?
That's an actual cartoon.
Oh, there you go. See?
But it's anime adjacent because it's
adjacent.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty close to an anime. You know, it's as close to an anime as you could get without being an actual anime.
Well, I've learned a lot. Long overdue. You're the man. Please come back. And I'm happy that you're not holding a grudge. Thanks for putting me on blast on that show a couple of months ago. But it worked. And then the videos here worked even more. So much respect to you. And I hope you feel better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell them all to go subscribe to my YouTube, man. That's what I need.
Go subscribe.
I appreciate all the love on Twitter, but subscribe to my YouTube.
That's how you can make the money, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, I'm trying to get popping out here. You know, I make money from Risen, then I want to make money off of YouTube.
All right. All right. Well done, my man. We'll do that. Thank you so much. All the best.
Peace.
There he is, Super Sodiq Yusuff. What a guy. I love how he keeps saying my name. Ariel. It's amazing stuff.